Let me restart this. Is everyone able to hear me now? If you're able to hear the audio, put a 1. If you're able to hear the audio, put a 1. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Is the audio clear? All right. I'm going to assume that no one can hear the audio, so I'm going to restart the live so that way we could do it over. Let me restart the live. Oh, somebody said clear. Okay, good. I'm going to try it again. Mighty Mike. I'm going to try connecting the microphone. Could you put a 1 in the chat if you can hear? All right. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Is the audio clear? Test 1, 2. Is the audio clear? Press 1 so you can hear. Okay, all praises. All right. Thank you for verifying. For a second there, I thought that no one was able to hear. I wasn't sure why, but for some reason, I wasn't getting any ones from the people that were joining in the room. So thank you for putting a 1 in the chat to verify that you're able to hear the audio. So we're going to talk about hidden history briefly. We're going to talk about the African Black Hebrews. You have Beta Israel, who have historical roots, tracing their lineage to the ancient kingdom of Israel. We have them that suffered through isolation and oppression. They were limited to the global Hebraic community, and they immigrated to the land of Israel during Operation Moses and Operation Solomon. You have another group that's called the Lemba, who has historical narratives and oral tradition, linking them back to Hebraic ancestry in the continent of Africa. They have various cultural practices and similarities to biblical-based rituals and traditions, including circumcision, including Levirate marriages, and various things of that nature. Now, you also have African Americans that live in the continent of the Americas, whether North, Central, South America, or the Caribbean islands. These are the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, or slave war, rather, that I like to use. They were forcefully converted to Catholicism. Many of them were assimilated and enslaved as so-called Africans, but the truth is they have a Afro-Hebraic background, okay, meaning they are descendants of the original Hebrews. That doesn't get talked about in school, y'all. That doesn't get talked about in school. So y'all make sure y'all tap the screen, get the likes up. Make sure you click follow at the top if you aren't following the Forefront Radio as of yet, and make sure you share the room with at least 10 people. So I got receipts, y'all. We're going to go over so much things. We're going to go over so much history. I got receipts on top of receipts. A lot of people know about the Sephardic connection as it relates to so-called African slaves that were brought by Portuguese, but they were really Portuguese Jews. You also have the Ethiopian Hebrews that live in the continent of Africa. There was a group called African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem, whose origins and beliefs stem from the Bible. What about the African Americans that was already here before Columbus? When you read the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 13, it talks about part of the 10 tribes coming over to the Americas. 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 40 through 45. You read about them coming. Shalom to you, Hosea. Hey, Hosea, I haven't seen you on the Discord channel, man. We're going to be on the Discord later this evening around 7 p.m. Eastern time, bro. So make sure you jump on there with us later on when you get an opportunity, all right? So, yeah, the people that were here in America prior to the Christopher Columbus, they're actually part of the 10 tribes, not all of them, but a majority of them are part of the 10 tribes that came over here during the time after Salmansar, the king of Assyria, had allowed them release, okay? You read about that in 2nd Esdras, okay? During that time, the Persian and Median Empire was in existence, and they fled from Babylon. They fled from Iran, Iraq. They went into the Euphrates River. They went into the East Ethiopic Ocean, also known as the Indian Ocean, sailed around Africa, went to South America, and worked their way up north, okay? Is the audio clear for everybody to hear? Here we go. My thing is glitching already. My thing is glitching already. Okay. Thank you, sis. I appreciate you sharing that. Okay, so I'm gonna I'm gonna put my microphone on charge, and while it is charging, I'm gonna go ahead and let me test my other microphone to see if it's working. 1 second. I'm all clear. Okay, good. All praises. I'm gonna charge my other microphone setup. While that is charging, I'm just gonna turn the regular device off. The audio is clear. Good, 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 good. So earlier it was glitching out on me. All right, y'all. I got receipts. I got receipts on top of receipts. This is gonna be sweet. Y'all gonna love this thing. I got facts on top of facts. I got archaeology, all of that good stuff. All right, so let's go to the first image. The first image you see here is depicting a Hebrew. This is depicting a Hebrew in ancient times. This is archaeology, meaning they dug this up and they found this on hieroglyphs. They took a picture of this image and placed it in a book. Okay. This is showing a depiction of the ancient Hebrews. Why is that important? You got people walking around the earth calling themselves a color in a crayon box. You can't make this stuff up. You got people walking around the earth right now calling themselves black. That's a color in a crayon box. That's ink. That's an ink cartridge from Walmart. So we're trying to wake the people up that their history goes past Christopher Columbus. Their history goes past Harriet Tubman. Their history goes past MLK. Their history goes past Cesar Chavez. Okay, their history goes past Malcolm X. Your history is important. Important to know. Okay? These are found in books that cost well over $1,000, but they're not going to teach you this in school. You know, when you go to school, they give you information pertaining to Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, MLK, all of this stuff, right? But they never tell you who were you in the BC era. But on the Forefront Radio, we're going to bring that out. We're going to bring it out. We're going to bring it out. Watch this. This image right here is another image depicting what? The tomb of Reckmeyer, the vizier in Thebes, Luxor, tomb TT 100. This is during the date of Tutmosis III. Y'all share the room with at least 10 people, y'all. Tap the screen, get the likes up. Is this some archaeology or what? Written on the tomb. What image do you see here of the ancient Hebrews? This is in a pictorial history of Jewish people, but they make it in black and white. So when you look at the photograph in the book, you can't tell whether they're melanated or not. But we got the color images. We have the color images. Y'all see that? Do you see it? Share that. Share that. Share the room with at least 10 people. Tag the screen, get the likes up. This is an image depicting the ancient Israelites, our ancestors, working in the tombs of Egypt. If you notice at the left side of the picture, there's a pond. If you notice, these various images are depicting workers working on mortar and brick, just like you read about in the book of Exodus. Why they don't teach that during Black History Month? Why do they not teach that during Black History Month? Important information. Share the room with at least 10 people, y'all. All right, next one. This image is from a site called Tel El Yehudiya. This is from a location called Tel El Yehudiya. And they took this artifact from Heliopolis, also known as Egypt in Africa, depicting the house of Judah. That's Tel El Yehudiya, or Jewtown in Africa. What color are these jokers? Black. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Get a Yiddish boy out of that. Get a Polish boy out of that. Get an Edomite out of that. You can't. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Blackity black can't turn back. Blackity black can't turn back. Do you see the image? Do you see the picture depicting Jewtown? Hello. A person from Tel El Yehudiah. Yehudiah is the same term as Yehuda, which is the same term as Judah. So just because somebody is in the continent of Africa don't mean they a Hamite. I'm trying to tell somebody, just because they're in the continent of Africa does not mean they a Hamite. Wake up, somebody. This is depicting the site of Tel El Yehudiah. Okay? Next image. This right here, ladies and Hebrew men, is an image depicting the ancient Israelites, officers that were taken from Jerusalem under King Hezekiah, king of Judah, and many of them were taken captive by Sennacherib. Look at the afros. Look at the afros. These are Hebrew captives by the Assyrian army, also showing King Jehu paying homage to Sennacherib, king of Assyria. This is BCE era, y'all. This is before Christ. This is before religion done brainwashed everybody. Okay, this is before religion. Listen, we got to break out of the psychological trauma, y'all. We got to break out of the matrix, y'all. We got to help the people. Because when you ask them, what are the original Hebrew? They say it's the GMO folks that's over there, those religious converts. With no evidence, no archaeology, no Bible facts, nothing. But we got receipts. We have receipts depicting the ancient Hebrews as Afro-Shemitic. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Wow. Wow. So we're looking at this, and then here's the crazy thing about it. This is etched in stone. So no matter what they do, they can't whitewash it. It's etched in stone, y'all. Etched in stone. Watch this. Here's another image right here depicting a Jewish person. Okay. This is in the book called Views of Biblical Hebrew History, Volume 3, International Publishing Company Limited in Jerusalem, 1960. I highlighted it just to make sure you see the highlight. Do you see the afro? Do you see the afro? Put a 1 in the chat if you see the afro. Can you see the highlight of the afro? Can you see his beard? Okay. This is depicting history of your ancestry. What you need a DNA test for? You don't need a DNA test. You just need the Bible and accurate archaeology, baby. That's it. That's it. That is not a hat. That is someone's hair. Have you ever seen a brother with beady hair where they coil up their braids and stuff like that? How else would you get an afro unless you stitch it in stone looking like thus? It wouldn't be a hat. Because this is a person that's unalive, meaning he's in the grave. Why would he wear a hat on in the grave? Okay? Whose hair looks like that? So-called Negroes. So-called black people. Israelites. That's who. This is archaeology from Jewish books. Look at the book. This is called Views of Biblical World History, Volume 3. This is depicting the Jews. All right. Thank you, moderator, for muting people. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. What do we know about the relationship between Jews today and Jews or Hebrews of the Bible? We assume that the Jews we see today are the descendants of those who we read about in the Bible. From pictures to movies to church doctrine to indoctrination, expressions of modern Jewish communities all reinforce a false belief that modern Jewry is part of the same lineage as the Hebrews of the scriptures. That's not true. We look to these people today and tie them to biblical prophecy when in reality, that's not true. We believe that a Eurocentric Hebrew today is God's chosen people. That's not true. When you examine them, a majority of them are atheists, and a majority of them don't even believe in Christ. How can you be God's chosen people and not believe in the Messiah? How can you be God's chosen people and be atheist? How can you celebrate a religion that is called Zionism and not the Afro-Hebraic customs of the Bible? We understand that many people call these groups so-called blessed because many of them are rich, many of them are prosperous, many of them are leaders in the media, in the government, in law enforcement. What do they always say? Oh, you want to get a lawyer? Get the best lawyer. The lawyer's going to be Jewish. Don't they say that? Don't they say that? Correct. Kenny B said they converted in the 8th century. Correct. Correct. So we see various things like the whitewashing of Caucasian figures in the Bibles, in the churches, online scriptural figures, movies, books, entertainments. We have been brainwashed everywhere to think 100% all of the time that whenever you hear the word Jew or Hebrew, you think YT people. But then you disregard plain biblical texts such as the Ethiopian eunuch in the book of Acts. Ethiopia is in Africa. You skip over the fact that Moses married an Ethiopian woman named Zipporah. Okay, right in the book of Exodus, Moses is called and compared to a black Egyptian. Right in the book of Genesis, you have a river flowing all the way into Ethiopia in the Garden of Eden. Genesis chapter 2, verse 13. That skips people's brains. It's as if they have a black highlighter in their mind, and whenever they read the term black in the Bible, like Job 30:30, my skin is black, they say, no, that means it's feelings. I've literally talked to people and said, what does the word skin mean? And they say, skin doesn't mean skin. I said, what? So your epidermis, your skin tone, your skin complexion, your skin color is not the same thing. They say, no, it was his feelings. Job 30:30, my skin is black upon me and my bones are burned with heat. How do you get a white boy out of that? They say, crickets. You can't make this stuff up, y'all. So now when it comes to the 12 tribes, you have the descendant of Shem, who is the progenitor of the 12 tribes. You have Jacob, their father, whose name was changed to Israel. He had 4 wives. 2 of them were legitimate wives because he was deceived, and 2 of them were handmaidens that ended up receiving children as well. Okay, so when you got people that push doctrines about multiple wives and all of that, when you look at our forefather Jacob, he was tricked into having multiple wives. He didn't readily accept. He wanted Rachel, but Laban deceived him into marrying Leah first. So he worked for another, literally dude worked for like almost 20 years for the same relative just so he could acquire Rachel and Bilhah and a couple of sheep and flock. You can't make this stuff up, y'all. So jokers will use that and say, oh, you see, brother, you could marry a whole bunch of women. Nah, that's illegal. Go to jail. So the descendants of Leah include Reuben, Simeon, Levi. That's my tribe. Levi. Judah. I got my brothers. That's from the tribe of Judah. Zebulon, and he had a daughter named Dinah. Okay, he also had other unnamed daughters according to Genesis 37 verse 35. And then you have Ephraim and Manasseh that came through the lineage of Joseph. Okay, those are 2 additional. Then you have from Zilpah, you have Gad and Asher. Apologize for the typo. It says Zippah there, but it's actually Zilpah, Zilpah. So Zilpah had Gad and Asher. Bilhah had Dan and Naphtali and Issachar, and Rachel had 2 sons, both Joseph and Benjamin. Why is this information important? Because they tell us that black people come from the seed of Ham. But we're going to find out something very interesting. Ham was a son of Noah. and the father of Cush, that's Ethiopia. Egypt, which was Mizraim, Put, which was like Somali area, and Canaan, which is the land of Israel today, as well as parts of Saudi Arabia. Okay, so we see further on that each of these four, while they were all dark-skinned, they were not the forefathers of the Negroid races. Hold up, wait a minute. So the people of Ham are not the forefathers of the people that you call Negro. Hello, Negro is a Spanish term. What group of people were called a Spanish term? Maybe the black Jews that were kicked out of Spain and Portugal and fled into West Africa? Maybe the same ones that were colonized by the conquistador and called Negro. That's a Spanish word. Nobody ever put two and two together? Why these people were called Negro? I don't know. Maybe because they were actually Judeos, actually Hebrews. I got receipts, y'all. I'm telling you, I got receipts. Ham, this is from another Bible dictionary, the youngest son of Noah, born probably 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor or forefather of the dark races, but not the Negroes, meaning not the African Americans, not the not the Afro-Hispanic, not the Hispanic, not the Latino, not the Native Indigenous, but Ham is, come on, bruh. Come on, man. Brother came on here talking about Trump plus Epstein equal BFF. Come on, man. Why you doing that? Why you coming on my live with the foolishness? Block Honda forever. You have been blocked. You have been muted. Mutant land. Mute. So, you see here that although there was a man named Ham, we have to debunk this false theory from religion called the curse of Ham, where they say that all melanated people came from Ham. That's not true. Bonjour, frère. Bonjour, mademoiselle. You know my French is horrible. My French is horrible. Lola, shalom to you. Most high in Christ bless. Hope you're doing well. Okay? She from the islands too. So my ancestors are from the islands as well. But my Creole and my French is not perfect. So we see here, right, that Ham was the forefather of what? The dark races, but not the Negro. Hold up, wait a minute. Somebody done lied to us. So when you read about Ham, it's portrayed in the New Standard Encyclopedia, Volume 4, that he's the 3rd son of Noah. And he had, both Cush, that's Ethiopia, Mizraim, that's Egypt, Put, that's Libya and Somalia or Sudan, and Canaan, that's Northeast Africa. So guess what? That whole entire territory going up to Babylon, Iran, Iraq, that used to belong to melanated people. Prior to the Ishmaelites, the Arabs, the Turks, the Ottomans coming in there and taking over, prior to the Grecians and the Romans descending into North Africa from their territories, prior to that, that region was controlled by Hamitic tribes, and Shemitic tribes intermingled. Remember, we were talking about Moses earlier, how he had a wife from Cush or wife from Ethiopia. Why they don't teach that in Sunday school? I wonder. So you're telling me forefront that these people mix with all type of black people in the Bible? You better believe it. Watch this. Let's jump down. It says they're known as the Hamitic group. The more important are the Barbers and Egyptians. Other tribes are so intermixed with Negro blood, it is difficult to say whether they are white or Negroid. However, widespread the custom, it is not correct, listen to this, it is not correct to speak of a Negro as a son of Ham. Meaning what? They are from the descendants of Shem, Afro-Shemitic. Afro-Shemitic. Y'all understand that? So Shem's territory, when you read the book of Jubilees, starts from West Africa all the way through Central Africa into East Africa. And this can be found in the book of Jubilees that many people don't read. Okay, watch this. Let's go to Jubilees chapter 9. Jubilees chapter 9. I'm breaking down some history that they don't talk about in school. We're going to start at verse 11. Okay, this is Jubilees chapter 9. We're going to start at 11. We're going to read from 11 to 19. It says, "And for Tubal there came forth the fifth portion in the midst of the tongue, which approaches towards the borders of the portion of Lud, to the second tongue, to the region beyond the second tongue, unto the third tongue. And for Meshech came forth the sixth portion, all the region beyond the third tongue, till it approaches the east of Gadir. And for Tiris there came forth the seventh portion, for great islands in the midst of the sea, which reached to the portion of Ham, and the islands of Kamatori came out by lot for the sons of Arphaxad as his inheritance." So now listen close. Listen close. It says, "And thus the sons of Noah divided unto their sons in the presence of Noah their father. And he bound them all by an oath, imprecating a curse on every one that sought to seize the portion which had not fallen to him by his lot." If you're wondering why there's wars going on all over the planet, it's because people have been invading one another's land and breaking the covenant of their ancestors. There's a law in the Bible that says, "Thou shalt not remove the ancient landmarks." And people do not study nor keep the laws. That's why all these wars happen, because people invade one another's lands instead of staying within their borders. Verse 15. This is Jubilees chapter 9, verse 15. "And they all said, so be it," meaning they all agreed, "for themselves and their sons forever, throughout their generations, till the day of judgment, on which the Lord shall judge them with a sword and with fire for all the unclean wickedness of their errors, wherewith they have filled the earth with transgression and uncleanness and fornication and sin." So if you're wondering why there's a lot of drama going on the earth, is because these people embrace perdition. They are the sons of perdition. They are the sons of lawlessness. They have operated out of things they should not do. Okay. So now the cure to that is following the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay. The cure to that is following the law, statutes, and commandments. That's the only alleviation to the conflicts that we have. If people really understood love your neighbor as you love yourself, there wouldn't be all this war and conflict. There wouldn't be black on black crime. There wouldn't be white people going and invading other people's lands, kidnapping people and doing all this crazy stuff. Nah, because they would say, I wouldn't want nobody to treat me as I'm treating others. Okay? Where's the humanity? Where's the love? Where's the appreciation for culture and art and music that have come from all these melanated people? I find it interesting, right? Because when you look at all the various musics that come on the earth, we are the salt of the earth. Whether it's the Spanish music with bachata, merengue, and compa music, reggae music, or if it's some stuff that's not from the Caribbean islands and from Hispaniola and from these various areas, but also jazz, also rap, also rock, all these various, also country music, classical music, all these came from melanated people. But they love our music, they love our culture, they love our dance, but they don't love our people. Okay? Ask about, we had a whole entire 6-hour discussion about the police departments and their misconduct. I got a document on the next TikTok live that I go through. I got a document that's literally 218 pages long from 2019 to 2020, where they go over the mistreatment of and misconduct of the police against melanated people. You can't make this stuff up. In places like Chicago, don't raise your kids there, because guess what? They will literally forcefully do things that they should not do to these children. So now, going back, we're going to go to Jubilees chapter 8 in my book, verse 15. Listen to this. It says, Jubilees chapter 8, verse 15. And it turns from here towards the south, towards the mouth of the great sea on the shore of its waters. And it extends to the west to Afra. Afra. To the west to Afra. And it extends till it reaches the waters of the river Gihon, and to the south of the waters of Gihon to the banks of this river. So now, this is giving you the territory where Shem lived. When you look up Afra, there's one place that you can find in the continent of Africa, in West Africa, in the area and regions of Nigeria called Biafra. Have you ever heard the word Biafra or Biafra? Biafra. That's in West Africa. That's in West Africa, y'all. That's in West. So why they never gone over that in school? The Book of Jubilees, where the territory of Shem extended all the way from West Africa into the areas of the Gihon River. Okay, if you're not familiar with the Gihon River, that's called the Blue Nile. That's the Blue Nile River that flows from Egypt all the way to Ethiopia. I told y'all I got receipts. I told y'all I got receipts. This is Hebrew history showing the ancient Hebrews in West Africa. Okay? Hebrew. Look at the definition of Hebrew. Underline right here, it's called an Afro-Asiatic family, meaning the Hebrews were in Africa all the way to Asia. Afro-Asiatic family. Get a Polish boy out of that. Get a Yiddish boy out of that. Get an Ashkenazi out of that. Africa, meaning Africa, the continent of Africa, and the continent of Asia. Y'all see that? Watch this, watch this, watch this. Y'all remember when I was saying that Yehuda means Judah? Why in the middle of Africa, right in the middle of Africa, in the region of interior of Ethiopia, you have a green highlighted area called Yehuda? Yehuda is Judah. Yehuda is the kingdom of Judah, baby. Yehuda is Judah. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So right smack dab in the middle of the heart of the interiors of Africa, you got a section here, Yehudah. That's Judah. That's Judah. So now if anybody's confused, there's a Bible verse in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2. I told you I got receipts. I got receipts all day. These are in hidden books that cost over $1,000. We take pictures and put it up on TikTok for free. But I can't get no likes up. Come on, man. Get the likes up. Get the likes up. Tap the screen, baby. Tap the screen. Share the room with at least 10 people. Jeremiah 14, verse 2. Judah mourneth. Judah is a tribe out of the 12 tribes of Israel. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground. They're just black, just like the soil. Negro, moreno. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground. And the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. Wait a minute. So Judah in the heart of Africa is called black just like the soil. Y'all see that? I told y'all I got receipts. This is a map from 1747. 1747. Meaning this region that they call the Congo or Ethiopia, where they were getting black people, and the west coast of Africa called Negro land. They knew who they were getting. They knew who they enslaved. I got receipts on top of receipts. Thank you. All right. Why, question for the critical thinker, Why are maps of West Africa in the 1700s you find mentions of the Hebrews? Why is it that you find terms such as Yakoba, that's Jacob, Eda, or Weda, that's Judah, Ayuda, Yehuda, and variations or Igbo, such as Hebrew or Igbo or Igbo? Hey, wait a minute. I remember that the majority of the enslaved people that went to America, they were called Igbo. Hold up, wait a minute. Hold up, wait a minute. Then they reclassified the people, changed the maps. Now, if you look at the bottom of the map, you're going to see a word called Biafra. Biafra. Biafra is the same term called Afra. The same term called Afra is Biafra that we just read in the book of Jubilees that tells you the territory concerning Shemitic, Afro-Shemitic people. We got receipts, y'all. Get the likes up, get the likes up. We got receipts, baby. Black history according to the Bible that they will never teach you in school, that they will never teach you in church. Some of y'all went to church for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and you've never heard this information in your life. You're right, Lori. Maps have changed. Okay? Never heard this information in your entire life. But we got it here on the Forefront Radio. I'm telling you. All praises to the Most High. Give glory to the Father for this, because everything that is done in the dark will come to light. Everything that's done in the dark will come to light. Because guess what? The Bible says you're going to know the truth, and the truth is going to make you free. We've been mentally, physically, spiritually in bondage since we got to the Americas. Now it's time to wake up. Now it's time to love one another. Now it's time to appreciate history. Guess what? I never liked history up until I started reading the Bible and finding out that melanated people were in the Bible. I never really cared for history. I would read a couple of books here and there, more so like science fiction, stuff like that. I used to read like Anne Rice and Piers Morgan and Isaac Asimov and stuff like that, right? Goosebumps books, stuff like that, just to pass the time. You're required to do a book report in second and third grade. So, let me just grab a couple books and do a book report on this stuff, right? It wasn't until it was revealed to me that we are the originator, not the GMO. The originator, not the GMO. That I said, you know what? I got to research this further. And it's piqued my interest. Okay. All right. Here's the next one. So right here, question, why smack dab in the middle of West Africa, you got an area called Kingdom of Judah. Kingdom of Judah, or Weda, also known as the Slave Coast. What did I say about Ethiopia? In ancient times, the entire continent of Africa was called Ethiopia. But that didn't mean that the people that were there were Ethiopians. Some were descendants of Shem. Some were descendants of Ham. And when you look up the term Hebrew in old dictionaries, it calls it an Afro-Asiatic family, meaning some people that live in Ethiopia are actually Hebrews, like the Beta Israel, for example. You got a whole entire group that was emigrated to the land of Israel now, but the European Hebrews are discriminated against them. How the carbon copy, how the hell, think about it, y'all. How does the GMO, genetically modified organism, now laying claim to being the original when we just read out of the Bible, Judah mourneth, they are black? How? Sway? Make it make sense. Because when it comes to Eurocentric delusionalism, they will tell you that the Greeks and the Romans were the dawn of Western civilization. But they never tell you who were these people prior to Greek invasion. When you research far enough, you find out they are Idumeans. They are Macedonian. They are the seed or bloodline of Esau. Next map. Here go another one right here. Tribe of Judah. This is from the same cartographer. The same cartographer that gave us the previous map that we just looked at. You are currently looking at Black history out of the Bible right here, showing Shemites in the region of West Africa. You got the tribe of Simeon. You got the kingdom of Judah. Okay. You got all of that right here. Somebody said Ethiopia was never colonized. Ask the Ethiopians why a lot of them Muslim. Hello. They did get colonized. They just weren't colonized by Caucasian people. Go read about the East African slave trade. How about that? They were colonized by Arabs. Just because white folks didn't colonize it doesn't mean it wasn't colonized. You got East Indians. You got Muslim Arabs all up in Ethiopia. Okay. So yeah, this right here is the tribe of Judah located in West Africa. Located in West Africa, y'all. Wow. Why they never taught us this? You got Median, that's another Shemitic group. You got the tribe of Ephraim at the top, Northern Kingdom. So just like they traveled, somebody said that is a big lie. I really just told you to do a Google search on it. So I recommend that you do a Google search and ask if Islamic people invaded into what's wrong with looking information up? Okay. There's nothing wrong with looking up information. Guess what? The Romans, aka Italians, they invaded Ethiopia. They tried to take it over completely. They couldn't. They split off part of the land and they call it a new state called Eritrea. They were colonized. Okay. They were colonized by the Italians. Okay. The people that call themselves Ashkenazi are not the biblical Israelites. You are Ethiopian. I know my history. Okay, do a Google search because I know for a fact that the people that are called Habesha are actually the Israelites. I know that many of the people in Ethiopia that are Tigrayan are actually Israelites. Okay, there's a lot of Afro-Shemitic tribes in Ethiopia. Look up the East African slave trade and you'll find out that, yep, Arabs did go into Ethiopia and take many of y'all as slaves. Literally, y'all, I just put up a video. Oh, watch this. I just put up a video recently where a young Eritrean woman, a Habesha woman, was taken from Eritrea, which used to be part of Ethiopia, and she was sold as a slave, as a worker. You know what I mean when I say worker, in Libya. Okay. Modern day enslavement is still going on today in various forms. Okay. We call it history. The Bible calls it prophecy. So now watch this. This right here is a depiction of a Levitical priest, okay, as written in Exodus 28. If you notice on the zoomed in picture towards the left, it has the same stonage as the people of the Levite priests. The people of the Levite priest. So notice here, this was a depiction of an Ashanti having a mitri as well as the ephod on his chest as depicted in the Holy Bible. What color is he compared to the colonizer that he's traveling with? Notice the Levitical priest is the only one that's dressed differently from the guides that are pushing the boat and the Caucasian that's right in the middle exploring. This is showing you Black history according to the Bible. This is showing you history and archaeology that they won't teach you in the education systems. This is showing you stuff they won't teach you in church. You will go. I'm in Africa right now, and I've seen a whole bunch of churches. And when they depict the Israelites, Jesus, God, they depict him as Caucasian. You don't see a problem with that? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that strange that there's all this evidence, all this archaeology, all this history, but the people that were invaded by Eurocentric delusionalism, they're going around saying that Jesus is Caucasian. You don't have a problem with that? You don't see people worshiping the beast and his image? They're literally worshiping the beast. And you read at the end of the book, those that worship the beast will be thrown into the lake of fire. And they still can't figure out 2 and 2. Okay, good luck with that on Judgment Day. Exodus chapter 28, and these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate, a breastplate, a breastplate. The thing that's in the middle of this guy's chest on the left. Do you see a breastplate? Is that a breastplate right over his chest? Right 1 for yes, right 2 for no. Do you see a breastplate right over his chest? Just like what we're reading here in Exodus? I say yes. Picasso's on point. There we go. Yappa's on point. Yes, that's a breastplate. Your breast is right over your chest area, right? So let's read the text again. We're reading Exodus chapter 28, verse 4. It says, and these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate and an ephod and a robe and a robe. Does this guy look like he's wearing a robe in this picture? You better believe it. Does this guy look like he's wearing a robe? You better believe it. Everybody else, this one got pants. The Caucasian guy on the left, he got pants. The Caucasian guy in the middle, he got pants. The one on the far right, he got some sort of shorts or something. But the only one wearing a robe is the Levitical priestess you see right here in the middle. And the broader coat and the mitri. The mitri is like that head wrap that brothers you see in the streets of New York and the streets of Atlanta and the streets of LA, right? What they call a do-rag. That's the little mitri, right? That's the mitri. Look like a do-rag, right? That's what I see all throughout all the ghettos and barrios and hoods of Americas. People wearing a mitri, people wearing a hoodie, people wearing the do-rag, okay? I wonder where they got it from. I wonder. Exodus chapter 28, verse 4. And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate and an ephod and a robe. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron, thy brother, and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest office. Y'all, this is royalty, y'all. This is a black priest, y'all. This is royalty. Thank you for listening to The Forefront Radio. I'm your host, Afia Levi Israel. This is another episode of The Forefront Presents Hidden History, African Presence of Hebrews in the Bible and Archeology. Make sure you like, make sure you follow, make sure you share. Make sure you follow on YouTube, The Forefront Radio 1, and YouTube, The Forefront Radio 2. Also go on Spotify and type The Forefront Radio, and you'll be able to go into many of the episodes that we have. We have over 200 episodes, 12,000 subscribers, over 1.5 million viewers, and 4.5 million outreach all throughout the globe. So I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. Appreciate you all. Do you have any other questions, comments, and concerns before we end the live? Please place your comments in the comment section, and I will answer it based on the Bible. If you're, hey, shalom to you, H-Train. Hope you're doing good. If you have any questions, write it in the chat. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Make sure you write your comments in the chat. Follow The Forefront Radio on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and many other platforms. This is another episode of Hidden History. What's your question, comments, or concerns? Place it in the chat. Place it in the chat. So that way we could address it. Shalom. How you doing? How you doing, my Hebrew brother? Hope you're doing good. So we just went over the whole lesson. I'll go over it again. Is it recorded? I want to hear it again. Where do I go to the website? www.youtube.com/The Forefront Radio 2. The Forefront Radio number 2. Okay. Then you also can go to Spotify, or iHeartRadio and type The Forefront Radio, and you'll be able to go over the information as suggested. Okay. This is hidden history that they don't go over in school. This is hidden history depicting ancient Israelites as melanated people, showing you that the information that we have been taught in the churches has been incorrect, We literally just went over an entire presentation with all the slides, showing you maps of West Africa, showing you archaeology, showing you stone relief images of people with afros during the time of Lake Kish and during the time of the Assyrian and Babylonian captivity. We call it history. The Bible calls it prophecy. Now we're going to go over some of the text of scripture that shows us that the people of the Bible are Melanated. Watch this. Watch this. I'm going to show you Jesus. I'm going to show you Jesus in the Bible. Watch this. Revelation chapter 1, verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ. The revelation of Jesus Christ. What is the root word of revelation? Reveal, 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 reveal. Watch this. Blessed is he that reads. Blessed is he that reads. This is verse 3. Blessed is he that reads, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. Verse 2. Servant John, who bear record of the word of God and of the testimony of Jesus Christ and of all things that he saw. So this melanated brother right here by the name of John, or Yochanan, who descends from the tribe of Judah. He was a friend of the Messiah, and he was told to document. I want you to bear record of this, because there's going to come a time where you're going to have false Christ, false prophets that's going to deceive the people. Watch this. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 24, verse 4. Matthew 24, verse 4. Okay, make sure you write these texts down so that way you can have it for your reference. And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. So what happened after 70 AD? You had Titus and Vespasians, you had a bunch of Idumean Romans that came in, conquered the land, took it over, stole the records of the Afro-Hebrews, and then whitewashed the images. This is why you think Jesus is white. This is why you think that God is white. This is why you think that the whitewashed Renaissance images in the Vatican depicting false images is actually true, with no Bible verse, no archaeology whatsoever. They literally took the Pope's son and Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, drawed them as Caucasian. And all across the world, they started pushing this during the Inquisition, during the colonization, during conquest. Every time America went to war, they sent military and they sent missionary. They sent military and they sent missionary. That's why the Philippines, they think Jesus is white. That's why Korea, they think Jesus is white. That's why China, they think Jesus is white. Okay? That's what they did. And Christ said himself, take heed that no man deceive you, for many is going to come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. What does the word deceive mean? To trick, to lie, to give you misinterpretation, to give you incorrect information. I'm going to use those apocryphas. Those are good, but a lot of people don't read from the apocryphas, so I'm going to use a lot of text from the scriptures, from the regular standard King James and without the apocrypha, because many people will start saying, oh, the Apocrypha is not canon. So I'm going to show it to you out of the whole Bible. Watch this. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 4. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 4. For if he that comes preacheth another Jesus, whom we have not preached, meaning what? Paul never taught about a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus. Never. Never, 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 never. Never taught about a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus. For if he that cometh, aka the Romans, preaching another Jesus whom we have not preached, or if you receive another spirit which ye have not received, or another gospel which ye have not accepted, you might well bear with him. Meaning what? Fight against it. Don't follow it. Okay? We only follow the law, statutes, and commandments from the first 5 books of Moses, also the Tanakh, also the Apocrypha, and the New Testament. We read the whole entire Bible. The whole entire Bible is the book of the law. All right, so watch this. Let's go to now Revelation of Jesus Christ, chapter 1, and reveal what the Messiah looks like according to the Bible. Revelation chapter 1, verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Meaning what? The top of his head and his beard, the color was white, as in a gray-haired man, and the texture was woolly hair. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this was written almost 93 years after John met the Messiah. So he was much older, okay? And he came through on his heavenly form. In his heavenly form, he saw this man with woolly hair, just like a black person, just like a Negro, woolly hair, afro textured hair. Okay, why do they never explain this in church? Many of you have gone to church many years, and they've never explained to you that the people of the Bible have woolly hair, afro hair. Okay, we just went over the archaeology. Okay, let's go over it again just to make sure we have it correct. This is an example right here of woolly hair. Do you see it? This is an example right here of woolly hair, afro hair. Do you see it? That's an afro. That's not straight, stringy hair. This is an example here of woolly hair. It's embedded in a stone relief. Okay? That's an example. Okay? All right. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if it burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. So the greatest man to walk upon the face of the earth did not look like Marilyn Manson, did not look like Brad Pitt. He looked like Denzel Washington with an afro or dreadlocks and a great big beard. That's what he looked like, y'all. He was melanated. He was melanated. He was melanated. He was a black man. Brass. Brass is a derivative of brown. Whenever you have brown, that means automatically he's not from Europe. Automatically he's not from the Netherlands. Automatically he's not from Kansas. Automatically he's not from Canada. A. Hey! What are we reading? The Bible. The Bible. The Bible. So now if anybody is confused, you can look up his ancestor, which was King Solomon, Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 1, the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's, How many psalms and songs did Solomon write? Let's find out. 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 21, I believe, or is it 15? 1 Kings chapter 4, verse, which verse do I want? Verse 30. It says, and Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country and all the wisdom of Egypt. That's in Africa. Verse 32. And he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. This is the proof through the Bible in the book of 1 Kings. Guess what? We got a book of black kings called, you know how white people make fun of us and be like, we was kings in Shiite, right? You remember when they say that? Guess what? We have a book called Kings. 1 Samuel, that's a book of Kings. 2 Samuel, that's a book of Kings. 1 Kings, that's a book of Kings. 2 Kings, that's a book of Kings. We got 4 books dedicated to the kings of Israel and Judah. You can't make this stuff up, y'all. You can't make this stuff up, y'all. So let's go to Song of Solomon, chapter 1. And now let's read verse 5. Song of Solomon, chapter 1, let's read verse 5. It says, I am black. What does the Bible say? I am black. What does the Bible say? I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Solomon. So this is showing you, ladies and Hebrew men, that the people of the Bible are melanated. Very important information to go over. Very important information. Let's jump to the precept that the brother wanted to go to. Let's go to Daniel chapter 10, verse 5 real quick, 5 and 6, because this will precept with what we read in Revelation. Daniel chapter 10, verse 5. It says, Then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. His body was also like the beryl, and his face was as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire. Hold up, wait a minute. This is the same description like we're reading about in the book of Revelation. So let's see what's being revealed here. And his arms and his feet, and his arms and his feet, like in color, to polish brass. Hold up, wait a minute. Was there a group of people in the 1920s to the 1950s called colored? You better believe it. Are there a group of people in South Africa called colored? You better believe it. Who is called this? Melanated people. Okay? Melanated people. So let's read it one more time for the people that's slow. It says, his body was also like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in color to polish brass. That's brass burned in the furnace. And his voice as the words like the voice of a multitude. This was a vision that Daniel saw of a black man with woolly hair, whose arms and feet, because guess what? Your arms, your chest, your feet, they're all the same skin tone. They're all the same skin complexion. They're not like this Jesus Christ that's falsely depicted as a Caucasian man. No, the real Jesus Christ is a black man, is a black man. Why is this important? Historical accuracy is important because we showed you depiction of the ancient Hebrews all throughout the Bible, all throughout the areas of Egypt all throughout Africa. For example, this is a picture of a Hebrew. Archaeology. This is a picture of the Hebrews. Archaeology. The tomb of Rekhmire, the Vizier, Tutmosis. This is slaves working in Egypt on mortar and brick, just like you read in the book of Exodus. Matter of fact, while we're there, let's go ahead and read that real quick. Exodus chapter 1. Exodus chapter 1. Let's go to verse, let's go to verse 7. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty. And the land was filled with them. Now there arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that if a war falls out, they join also to our enemies and fight against us. So get them up out of the land. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters, to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they grew and multiplied, and they were grieved because the children of Israel. Now watch this. This is the comparison between blacks in Egypt and blacks working on plantations in America. Watch this. It says, and the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, meaning hard labor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage. That's slavery in mortar and in brick. Question for the critical thinker. Do you see people right here in this archaeological depiction working in mortar and in brick? You better believe it. Who were the ones in the Americas building with mortar and bricks? Guess what? Do y'all remember that scene on the news when Michelle Obama stated, I'm now living in a house in the White House that was built by slaves? And everybody was like, hold up, wait a minute, let me go to Google. Is that true? Type. Did black slaves build the White House? Google answer, yes. Ha! Wait a minute. So the same comparison between blacks working in mortar and brick means you got blacks that were working in mortar and brick in the Americas. Now watch this, but wait, there's more. And in all manner of service in the field. What group of people were forced to work in the field? Let's make it plain. The sugarcane field, the rice field, the cotton field, the cocoa bean field. Melanated people, aka so-called black people, aka the Israelites. Why they don't teach that in church? Why they don't teach that in school? Why is your history always limited to 1619 and forward? MLK, Rosa Parks, Harriet, every Black History Month, they give you the same old trivial BS that you could read in any magazine, right? But they never tell you, who were you in the BC era? Guess what? You were the slaves that got free from slavery, overcame, had your own empire, and subsequently, because you broke God's laws, you went into several different captivities all over the world, dispersed over all the nations of the earth. This is just archaeology proving that the children of Israel are melanated people. Melanated people. Get a white boy out of that. Archaeology depicting Hebrew captives, aka Hebrew slaves, by Assyria. Get a white boy out of that. Where is the long hair? Where's the blonde hair and blue eyes? I don't see it, Sway. I don't see it. All I see is black. All I see is black. All I see is Africa. Judah, in the heart of Africa. Wait a minute. Judah in the heart of Africa depicted. This is a picture showing you Africa, and in the continent of Africa is written YEHUDAH. That's Judah. Guess what? When you read Exodus chapter 2, you find out that Moses was compared to an Egyptian. Moses was compared to an Egyptian. Watch this. Exodus chapter 2, verse 19. It says, and they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock. Hold up, wait a minute. And he said unto his daughters, and where is he? Verse 21, and Moses was content with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah, his daughter. Zipporah, his daughter. So now when you go to Numbers chapter 12, verse 1, it says, and Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Why they don't read that in church? Moses was married to a black woman? Let's use Western logic. They say in the West, aka in America, if you got one drop of black blood, that means you're a Negro. So hold up. Moses had kids, right? He wasn't barren. He wasn't sterile. So he had children with a woman that was from Ethiopia, meaning the descendants of Moses. Even if, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say Moses was Caucasoid, right? Even if he married a Ethiopian woman. So progressively through the line, he had black blood, and his descendants had black blood from Ham. Oh, that hurts. That hurts Eurocentric delusional feelings, y'all. That hurts people that go to church, hurt their feelings. They be like, why you got to tell me that Jesus is black? No, where's the love of Jesus? Because guess what? When you think and you realize that Jesus is a black man, that the people of the Bible are melanated, then you realize that the same group that enslaved and oppressed them, they gonna be looking for cookies and milk on Judgment Day, and they ain't gonna have none. Ain't gonna be no cookies and milk. I'm sorry, not sorry. Ain't gonna be no cookies and milk, baby. It ain't gonna be no hugs and kisses, baby. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all. We got Stephen X that want to come up. Shalom, Stephen. What is your question or comment? What is your question or comment?
Hey, you hear me,
You
bro?
there?
Let me know if you hear me clearly.
Clear. What's good?
Hey,
How you
hey,
doing?
hey, Shalom, brother.
Shalom, shalom. What's your question or comment?
Let me know if you hear me clearly, cause let me know.
Yes, I can hear you clear. Go ahead.
Hey, for those who still doubt, I just want to add a little, just a little, poquito, little bit to what you just said. Um, in the book of Genesis, chapter 50, when Jacob passed away, Jacob, whose name was changed to Yasharala, Israel, right? Check this out though. I'm pretty sure I know you know about this, but for those in the chat who still doubt about what our brother Forefront is talking about, when you look at Genesis 50, verse 11, verse 50, Genesis 50, 11, it talks about when Jacob passed away, they were going to bury Jacob. So watch this. Genesis 50, verse 11, it talks about the Canaanites. Look, and it says, and when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, this is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians. See, they thought that the Hebrews were Egyptians, but nah, it was the Hebrews. It was Jacob's children who was on their way to bury Israel, the man, Jacob. And the Canaanites said, oh man, check out those Egyptians, man. They crying for real. They mourning real bad. They mourning, right? So even the Canaanites thought that those Hebrews on the way to bury their father, they thought that they were Egyptians. Another one. Let's give him another one, brother. Let's give him another one. Exodus 4. Exodus 4. Exodus 4. This is Moses now. Exodus 4, verse verse 6. Now this is the Most High showing Moses, hey, I'm going to be with you. Fear not. We're going to take our people out of there. You're going to go to Pharaoh and you're going to tell him the Most High, I am, has sent you, right? Check out this one. Exodus 4, starting at verse 6, and it says, and the Most High said furthermore unto him, unto Moses, put now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was what? Leprous as snow. Now check this out, brother. This is the one. This is the one for those that still doubt that Moses was white. Check this out. And then the Most High said, check this out. And he said, verse 7, and he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again. And when he put his hand into his bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom, and behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. So his skin.
Hey, your audio is breaking up, brother. Your audio is breaking up. Your audio is breaking up. Repeat the last thing you just said.
Let me know if you hear me. Let me know if you hear me.
I hear you. Go ahead.
So Exodus 4, verse 6. It says, the Most High said furthermore unto him, unto Moses, put now thy hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. Now watch this one. Verse 7. And he said, the Most High said again unto Moses, and he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. So if Moses was white, how could he be white when his hand became white as snow, leprous as snow, and then when he put it up, put it inside his clothes again and pulled it out, plucked it out, his hand became as the rest of his flesh. So it tells you what? He wasn't white because his hand was turned leprous as snow, and then when he put it in again and plucked it out again, Shazam! His hand became as the rest of his skin. His color came again to his hand. Ooh, ooh.
That hurt Eurocentric delusional feelings. I'm telling you.
Hey, hey. I just wanted to add that one in Genesis 50 and Exodus 4. For those that still doubt, Moses was not white. The Israelites were not Caucasians. Sorry, not sorry. Facts over feelings. Let them know, brother. Shalom. I'll fall back. I'll fall back.
Appreciate the insightful statement here. We got a lot more scriptures. But I like to appreciate everyone that's joining on the Forefront Radio for these insightful discussions, because we want to break through the matrix. So now this is not about hurting people's feelings. This is about truth. We want to make sure that people that are in this society that learn this information are familiar with the truth. I'll go to another text of scripture. Shalom to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Acts chapter 13, verse 1. It says, now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger. Niger, like they say in French, right? Niger, meaning black. And was called Niger, and Lucius of Cyrene. Do y'all know where Cyrene is? That's Libya. Libya is in Africa. So you had in Antioch certain prophets and teachers, meaning what? They were direct disciples, apostles of the Messiah. Okay? This was direct disciples of the Messiah. So now, why is that important? There was a history of a group of people that were scattered into all nations that the Bible talks about, and we have to realize who they are today. Luke chapter 21, verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. A group of people went into slavery in all nations. All nations, meaning after 70 AD, after the Roman conquest of North Africa, you had subsequent invasions by various factions, such as the European Christians, the Ottoman Turks, the Arabs, and subsequently with their religions came captivity of the original people groups in the continent of Northeast Africa, the Israelites. And subsequently, over these last 2,000 years, they have been scattered worldwide. Meaning the people of the Bible are so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Those people that you call Afro-Indian, the CD, the deletes, they were there around the time of Esther, Queen Esther. Do you remember the story of Esther, where Artaxerxes of the Persian and Medes, Darius, they had land from Ethiopia all the way to India? Meaning there were melanated people as far off as India. Remember when the Apostle Thomas was told to go and teach in India? Remember when Messiah said, go and teach all nations? Why was he saying that? Because his people were scattered from the Babylonian captivity, the Persian enslavement, the Grecian enslavement, Roman occupation and enslavement, Arabian enslavement. Ask the black people in Eastern Africa and in West Africa, why are many of them in Islam? It was through slavery. Ask the people of South America, Mexico, the Caribbean islands, why many of them are Catholic. It was through enslavement. And with that enslavement came Eurocentric delusionalism, a Renaissance image of a new Christ, a new God, a new image to bow down and worship that for miraculous reasons look just like the people that enslaved them. Are you beginning to get the picture? Are you beginning to get the picture? So the truth of the matter is, we are the 12 tribes of Israel. We are the descendants of the slave trade. We are the people that fit what is documented in the Bible. Stop looking at the Bible as a religious book. This is a book of history and prophecy. This is a book of history and prophecy. And we're showing you images from archaeology based on history, showing you the Afro-Asiatic people, the Afro-Shemitic people, the Afro-Hebraic people. There's a place in Heliopolis. Okay, why was it called Heliopolis? Why is there a place called Alexandria? Because Alexander the Greek invaded Egypt. They were not the original inhabitants, but they found a site, archaeology, called Tel El Yehuda. Tel El Yehudia, which is the house of God, or Jewtown is what they call it. But Tel El is really house of God in Judah. Okay? House of God in Judah. Why did they never go over this information in Black History Month? Why are they not showing you depictions of Hebrew captives in the Assyrian captivity in the BC era? I'm gonna read the text of scripture. Watch this, watch this, watch this. This is gonna break the brain of people that call themselves Jewish. Watch this. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 14. Watch this. Is Israel a servant? Is he a home-born slave? Why is he spoiled? So the Bible is saying, why is the children of Israel spoiled? Are they a home-born slave? So ask the people that call themselves Yiddish, Ask the people that call themselves Yiddish, when in history do you have archaeology of your captivity? Show me the hieroglyphs with white people as slaves in Egypt. It don't exist. Show me the archaeology of white people enslaved in Babylon. It don't exist. Persia, it don't exist. Hmm. Watch this. Even during the time of the Greeks, now we're going to pull out the Maccabees. I know my brother wanted to pull out the Maccabees earlier. Let's just do that for kicks and giggles. First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 41. It says, and the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves. For slaves. Hey, bro, don't mention the H cost, because the H cost be getting people TikTok monitored. So, refrain from using the H cost. Just call it H cost, or another term like the Polish paddy wagon. I don't know. Call it something else, but don't call it H course, because then they're gonna be like, oh, you can't say that on TikTok. Oh, children. All right. And the merchants of the country. This is First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 41. And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves. A power also of Syria and all the land of the Philistines joined themselves unto them. So that's telling us that the Greeks, the Romans, the Arabs all sold the children of Israel as enslaved people. The children of Israel as enslaved people, even during the time of the Greeks. Hello. Even during the time of the Greeks and the Romans. Watch this. When Christ resurrected from the grave and he was going up into heaven, many are under the misconception that the kingdom of heaven is for everybody on the planet. John 3:16, God so loved the world. But what did the disciples directly ask him right after he resurrected from the grave? Watch this. Acts chapter 1, verse 6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, will thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? The kingdom to Israel. So hold up. I thought the kingdom of heaven was for everybody. Why is it saying that the kingdom is going to be restored? It means there was a kingdom that existed on earth that was destroyed by the Romans. And this kingdom now will be reestablished by who? It will be reestablished by Christ himself. Love everybody. Love your people as you love yourself. Love your people as you love yourself. Let's exercise love. Let's exercise love. Let's show the love of Jesus for his people and what he's going to do in these last days. How is he going to restore the kingdom to Israel? The Bible says that the last shall be first and the first shall be last. The Bible says you shall be the head and not the tail. The Bible says he will reverse the curses away from you and place it on those that held you in bondage. Let's read it. Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. He that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. Meaning what? God bless you, Mr. White Man. God bless you, Mr. Chinese. God bless you, Mr. Arab man. The same way your ancestors blessed my ancestors. He that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. God bless America. God bless China. God bless the Arabs. God bless Europe. He that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He that unalives with the sword must be unalive with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. When Messiah comes back, will he find this faith? When Messiah comes back, will he find this faith? Will he find this faith? God bless you. God bless you. God bless America. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God is going to bless you the same way you bless our ancestors. Because guess what? The Bible says, blessed are those that bless you, and cursed are those that curse you. Interesting. Things that make you go, Things that make you go, It's interesting because archaeologically speaking, there's a group of people that have lost their identity. How can a whole entire group of people just erase, vanish off of the face of the earth? We call the history, the Bible calls it prophecy, right? And we're showing you archaeological evidence depicting the people that were drawn on the hieroglyphs of Egypt. For example, this is a tomb of Rekhmire, the vizier in Thebes, dated in the time of the Exodus, showing melanated people working in brick and mortar. These groups of people subsequently left from Northeast Africa. They were scattered into sub-Saharan Africa, scattered into Asia and Europe, and eventually they ended up in the United States of America. They ended up in Brazil. They ended up in Puerto Rico. They ended up in all places of the earth as workers, working for free with no pay. You think there's no judgment for that? Listen, you can't have rights violated. You can't have atrocities committed and think there is no God. Judgment always comes. Judgment always comes. Whether you believe it or not, ask the people in Europe when Mount Vesuvius erupted and they literally were burned because of their debaucherous acts. Ask the people in Dubai right now and in Saudi Arabia, where literally in the desert, there's floods going on in the desert. Flooding. I got videos on my channel right now where camels are trying to not drown. Camels in the desert struggling with flood. And people say there's no God. Good luck with that on Judgment Day. I literally got videos all throughout my channel of rivers turning to blood, just like you read in the book of Revelation. But people don't believe in the Bible. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Thank you for listening to the Forefront Radio. We appreciate everyone that came up and joined on this exciting episode. We appreciate everyone that commented and shared their thoughts. We appreciate everyone that enjoys this information from a historical perspective and wants to share in knowledge that will break the matrix and break the psychological destruction that has happened on the people through modern day religion. This shows you that we should unite, that we should all destroy the social and political and religious barriers that have separated the people under Eurocentric delusionalism and caused people to love each other. Because guess what? If you see Christ as a black man, that means you're going to love black people. If you see Christ as a black man, that means you're not going to mistreat others that don't look like you. That means you're going to start having a decrease in black on black crime, Latino crime. These various things that are poorly seen in our communities, we're going to end. When people say, oh, don't pull the race card, what we got to do to stop it is to cause people to break through the matrix. We have to help people and assist them from breaking through the matrix of lies, from indoctrination, so we can have a world of social justice, a world of order out of this chaos and negativity that we see going on today. We appreciate everyone that's joined on. Thank you for tuning into the Forefront Radio. I will come back again either tomorrow or maybe next week, where we will cover information that will set you free. And with that, we say peace and blessings to you all. Make sure you tap the screen to get the likes up, and make sure you follow. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe now. Those that are subscribers, we send you a special link where you're able to join the Discord channel. And through the Discord channel, you will be able to get more private lessons, as we will have a private study today with many of the people closing out the Feast of Dedication. We appreciate you all. And with that, we say peace and blessings to the 12. I'm the Forefront Radio, and I'm out.